the Western society has gotten to the point of falling for marketing, substitution,
Well, we've
getting addicted
fallen
to
for
food.
reductionism in a lot of
Yeah.
different ways, where you know what, I think it's actually a marketing determinant of health, and but Blake, you're gonna be able to comment on this extensively, and that is that we kind of were sold in a lot of ways that the next drug was going to fix something permanently, that the linear relationship that was identified was what was broken, you know, and the headlines continue kind of to traction some of those ideas because they want people to open the articles. But, Blake, maybe you want to talk about that because we need a better strategy of communication in the context of marketing to kind of work through some of the difficult bits that customers and consumers like get a little confused by, right? Like your food is medicine point is kind of circulating back there.
Yeah, it's such an important point because that's the intractable problem is how do we get away from the to an extent dishonest marketing, but
Yeah.
also oversimplified marketing. So even the honest and truthful marketing doesn't disclose, the anything near the full extent because they assume that the average consumer only has 1 second and reads on a fifth grade level. And so marketing teams go through the whole, weeks of exercises on how do we simplify this complex thing down to something so simple.
Remember, they also do consumer testing on those, and unfortunately, not not to side with all of that, but there is some truth to that because when you look at the amount of dollars for spend required, and basically they have to get their slogan across in 10 seconds or less. I mean, that's pretty much what's happening right now.
Or yeah,
So
or even less now. I mean, they're talking
it,
on TikTok. You got to get your hook down in the first 2 seconds, or else they're gonna
well,
swipe.
the hook, but then
Yeah,
it's your 8 second max and your 10 to 15 second absolute length, right? Which has to have some kind of a other stuff in it so that you know that the 7 seconds are gone. You have 8 seconds to get your full message across, or you lose the audience because they're worried about the people who flip through and scroll, right? So but there's also that other complex thing which we were talking about earlier with allopathic doctors and things. They were trained to look at things in that tunnel. And isn't life easier when you have blinders on, rose-colored glasses, and a tunnel because you don't have to study at night. You
Yeah,
can
well,
go
and
play
again, also
soccer.
medicine was looking to correct linear dysfunctions. Let's remember that. It's
Yeah,
like X is broken, therefore you give Y, X gets fixed, whatever, whatever.
but
And now
it
we're understanding that the
yeah.
low-hanging fruit in medicine's been picked. It's been picked.
Mhm.
You got a headache, you give a COX-2 inhibitor, but this is a very narrow way to think about it. The other thing that's very interesting to me is that I think we had the historical understanding based on, I believe it was Galileo who said, the universe is a clock. So it's mechanistic, right? And when something's broken, it can be fixed. So we're like a clock. So we can analyze the parts and then we can fix the broken part. But that actually doesn't look to be true.
Well, remember the time of Galileo, that whole cluster of physics that was born out of Galileo and Newtonian philosophy, or the
Sorry, it
misinterpretation.
was Newton. It wasn't Galileo. It
Okay, it
was
was
Newton
Newton.
who
But that
said
whole, it was the same
the
period,
universe
same
was a clock.
150-year
Sorry.
period. Okay.
That's Newtonian. That's right.
Right. That whole same 150-year period with Kepler and everybody, right? We're talking about all of these people that had a religious doctrine and philosophy of simplification where, it became the earth as the center of the universe in thought, a very egotistical way of thinking where, you know, and this is even before Frankenstein was written, man playing God thoughts, and so that still holds as a basis of philosophy in a lot of the science today, but also as a
Well,
basis of
here's a great
modern
example,
life.
Judy. Diabetes. You talk to most MDs who don't have any additional training in diabetes, you ask them what diabetes is, and they'll tell you it's high blood sugar.
Mhm.
That's like a byline in 200 other things that's going on,
Exactly.
right?
They don't even
It's
know the
tissue
types of
dysfunction and
diabetes, half of them.
dysregulation
Yeah.
at a systemic organizational issue.
Yep.
It's nutrient signaling gone awry. It's the brain's receptive response to that. It's so many different things.
But
Blood sugar is a
vagus nerve,
byline. It's like cholesterol. Cholesterol is a byline
right,
to a much more complex ecosystem dysfunction.
right. Basically, it's the same way, mechanics look at a car. What are the symptoms? This is what we label it. This is the part we're going to remove and fix or whatever, right? But the problem is in Western society, I think we've gotten to the point of getting so used to it, binary numbers, binary coding, and computer in out data, Wall Street making sure that everything has a code for accounting, right? It's a whole philosophy that is contradicting what life actually is. And I think that's the challenge, because I know for myself, I know several doctors, if I were to go and talk to them about microbiome, they don't want to hear it. Why should they have to go back to school and learn this stuff? Is their thing? We got a comfortable life. We want to have time with our families. We can't spend more time studying this. One cut me off.
But again, I mean, into their defense, that's not through official channels. There's a lot of things going on there.
Absolutely.
Well, and no one person can know everything or even profess to know part of what we need to know. And, medicine is easy compared to, as what we call medicine.
To flourishing. Right.
That's easy compared to health or flourishing, right?
Right.
I agree.
And then you get into
nothing against doctors, nothing against medicine. I mean, there's
no. It's not that. It's just they're caught in a system and a way of thinking. Unfortunately, that will change. There is a change going on.
I believe it would change.
Like when you do expose yourself to a certain type of food, a certain supplement stack, a certain way of sleeping, a certain way of moving, a certain way of doing social connections, your ability to maintain homeostasis and feel good while doing it changes.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, and it's interesting when we talk about Newton and the old philosophers and scientists and they were still coming up with the lexicon and understanding the parts of the car, in David's words. And I was just thinking about that metaphor when Judy brought it up, but it's almost like now we know the parts of the car, how they fit together, and how to start the car, right? So, but now next we have to figure out how do they all run together optimally so that you can race the Indy 500 or to do the Dakar 2000 race or whatever that is. Like we're still in the Model T era, I think, in terms of understanding.